Hello everybody, and welcome to this well overdue second part to the EICR that I started way back in October last year, which unfortunately then had to be suspended because of the not having the isolator in place and the faults that were found, and then obviously I broke my thumb so they couldn't finish it. So the second part of the EICR I managed to do yesterday. Just a quick recap. The first part dealt with doing the visual inspection and the testing of the conservatory board, and the second part that I managed to do yesterday deals with the main house and the testing associated with that. There's another video which goes into the EICR form filling, and then there'll be a further video which will go through all the remedial work that needs to be done to bring it up to spec so that I can actually issue an EICR that passes. So let's get to it. Okay, so we're back at the house that I started the EICR on. As you can see, there's a nice brand new isolator switch in, and quite nice actually, look at that. And there's the old tails which I've got to replace. Just to remind people, that's why they're being replaced. The shadows in here. The more I look at this, the more I think those cables are in a really bad way. But anyway. So yeah, so that's got to be done. That's part of the remedial work. So what I'm doing now today, now that I can isolate this whole thing, just come out a bit, there we go. Now that we can isolate this whole thing, what I'm going to do today is testing in the house. I don't need to do the conservatory because I did that in the EICR part 1, so that's been done. So it's only the main house that needs to be done. All the visual work's been done, as you saw in the very first one. So, and the garage is obviously not part of the EICR because that's been done by me, so that's not part of it. So we've got to do all the testing. Apologies for the shadow. So the circuits we're going to be doing are the cooker, kitchen sockets upstairs, lights upstairs, not the outdoor circuit, which is just over there. The downstairs sockets, downstairs lights, but not the conservatory, which is number 12 on that over there. Number 9 isn't connected, so we don't need to worry about that. So yes, so what I might do is I might do the live tests first, just for completeness. Yeah, get the ZE and the LPF. I might get those done first before I do anything else. Get those out of the way, and then we'll work through the various circuits, and then finally label this board up. Because as you can see, there's no labels at all on it. Yes, so I'll do that. Okay, I'm getting a reading of 0.4 on this system and a PFC of 606 amps, which is 0.6 kiloamps. That's a bit concerning because this should be 0.35 and I'm getting 0.4. This is a TNCS system. Might need to check that because that's might need to check on that. Now that previous reading was when I did line to earth. This is line to neutral, so I'm getting 0.33 and 738.6 when I'm doing the line to neutral. Now the PFC reading, that's the one I'll put down on the report, but getting 0.33 and 0.4, I've not seen that before. Getting two completely different readings, so I'll need to just double check that that's still okay. I might drop Napit a bell about that, whether that needs to be checked by the DNO, because that reading is within the range. It should be below 0.35, which it is, but the other one is a 0.4, which is above what it's supposed to be. Okay, interesting. Okay, so we're set up here to do the test on the cooker circuit. We've got R1, R2 connected. At least we're hoping that's R2. Actually, because of the mess of cables in the back of there, I actually can't 100% be certain that that is the correct CPC for the cooker circuit. So we'll find out in a minute. Okay, so let's null the leads first. Got those connected across. Yes, I'm using brown and blue. We're only testing R1, R2. It doesn't really matter what we're doing. We only need to use 2 leads for this, so it doesn't matter which one I use. So we're nulling these ones, so we're getting 0.17 on the, I'm going to press the null switch again, yeah, 0.16, null that out, so it's 0, there we go. By the way, the equalizer amongst you will see this is a KT63DL when I used to have a KT63. I've not bought a new one, I've actually had my old one upgraded, so this is an upgraded one. So you'll see that this now can do AC and A RCDs now as well. I'll do a little bit of a review on that in another video. Well worth it. £190 this cost to get this upgraded, and that included the annual check as well. So I thought that was a damn good deal when these could cost £400 or £500. £190 I've managed to reuse my old one. So there you go. Well worth it if you've got an old QTech KT63. Check out the upgrade options and get it upgraded to a KT63 DL. Well worth it, I think. Anyway, I digress. Let's get this plugged into the cooker and let's see what we get. Okay, there we are, so we're all plugged in and we're switched on, so let's see what we get. 0.1. Yeah, I'll be happy with that, I think. 0.1 for there. 32 amp circuit. Yeah, I'm happy with that. Okay, so we're starting off with the ring in the kitchen. So those 2 lines are clipped together. I've nulled them as well before that, so we're getting a reading of 0.35. That's probably alright. So we'll get the neutrals disconnected now, and we'll get that reading, and then we'll work out what we should be getting on the CPCs. Okay, so we've got the neutrals hooked up there. You'll see there's another one there. That's because there's a radial connected into this particular circuit breaker as well. Well, not a radial, but a spur off this ring is actually connected as well. So I had to work out which one that was. So those 2 are part of the ring, and we're getting a reading of 0.34, so that's absolutely fine as well. So let's do the CPCs. Sorry, the CPCs should be 1.67 higher than that 0.34 reading. My math is out the window at the moment, so I will put it on the screen when I've done the video. Okay, so there are the CPCs hooked up, and we're getting a value of 0.59. Now, off the top of my head, I think that's actually right, but like I say, I'll put a note on the video just to say that whether it is or not. Now, interestingly, I've just realised, and I've made a bit of an error early in the video, the kitchen ring is the only ring in this house. Everything else are radial circuits. So I should have done this ring last really, but I might as well carry on now from where I am. So the next thing I need to do is do the figure of 8 tests. Now I can't see the actual cables, so this is going to be a bit of guesswork to see if I get these the right way around. So this is my first guess, line to neutral, figure of 8. If I've got it right, the readings will be identical as I go around the kitchen sockets. If I've got it wrong, they'll rise and fall. So let's see what happens. So we've got it plugged in, and we're getting a reading of 0.62. Now I've already done the calculations for the line neutral, which is 0.34 plus 0.34 divided by 4. So I should be getting something of 0.42. So that's well above what it should be. However, if I unplug that from there, plug it into this one, which we believe is the troublesome socket anyway, and then do the reading again, we're getting that. Now I think this is the troublesome socket, and I'm not convinced about that. See, 0.89 now, 0.87. So let's try another couple of sockets and see what we get. Okay, so as you can see in another socket I'm getting another completely different reading. So from that I'm pretty sure I've got that figure of 8 configured around the wrong way. So I'm going to go and reconfigure those cables and then come back and do the test again. Sorry, my math is complete. I don't know what I was doing there. But 0.34 plus 0.34 is 0.7, no, 0.68. You divide that by 4, you get a reading of about 0.16, if I remember rightly. So 0.19, that's absolutely right. So I did have those cables round the wrong way, and also my mass was up the creek as well. So what I should be seeing is somewhere in the region of, between 0.16 and this. This is fine. So let's just check the other sockets. Let's take that out of there. And it's a very stiff socket. Got it. So that's now in there. 0.28 might be a dodgy socket this. Let's try that again. As I said, it's a very stiff. No, that's definitely not working, that socket. I don't think either of them are now. That's not good. Oh, there you go. There we go, 0.17. I'm going to put that down as a dodgy socket as well, I think, because that shouldn't have been like that at all. Should have been fairly straightforward to put a plug in there. So let's check the first two. So this is this one here. This is the one we know from the client is not working properly. And that kind of seems to be being borne out by the readings on this. Let's try that. Yeah, the readings are all over the place on this particular socket, I think. I don't think this socket's... There you go, so it is. So that socket is definitely not working properly. But we're getting a 0.17 reading there now, so that's fine. Let's do the last one. Oh, again, really not easy to get these in. 1.62, that's ludicrous. Right, okay. Yeah, I'm not happy about this at all, really. I think I would be advising the client to have all of these changed. Yeah, they're all over the place. So we know two of them are fine. We know we've got we know we've got that right. So okay, well we know we've got two dodgy sockets on here, but I'm happy with the ring is actually working as it should be. But the sockets are definitely look like they need to be replaced, I think. So I might have a look behind. I'm going to have a look behind them and see what state they're in. And I can see the people saying, "But you haven't done R1, R2 on the ring." No, I haven't. I'll do that now. I've just reconfigured the figure of 8 to do the line to CPCs in there. Hopefully they're around the right way. If they're not, we'll have the same problem. Now, on this occasion, it'll be 0.34 plus the reading I got for the CPC, and that's then divided by 4. And we'll stick that up on the screen, so we'll see how the readings go with that. But yes, I hadn't finished the ring, had I? 0.23, and we're plugged in over there. So, just by pure chance, I've actually got it completely correct in the board. So we'll just get that. Oh, yeah, see what I mean? I think we're going to have to get these all replaced. Go on, get in. No, you don't want to go in, do you? Go on, there you go. We'll get a reading of 0.22, so that's absolutely fine. So yeah, so I am complete now. Sorry about that. But yeah, that ring fine was actually fine. What we've got some dodgy sockets, so I'll have a word with the client and see what she wants to do with that. Maybe get them all replaced. Don't know yet. But let's get that board tidied up, and we'll get onto the radials. Right, okay, well I had a look behind those sockets. It wasn't easy to get the camera down there to have a look, but they are a bit of a mess behind there. So yeah, I've tidied them up a bit and I've made sure that it's all terminated properly, but we're still getting dodgy readings. So I will be advising the client that as part of the remedial work, we'll get these socket fronts replaced, I think. They're definitely not right. Well, 2 of them aren't right, 2 of them are fine, but we'll see how we go with that. So I think I'm happy with the ring readings down here. The rest of the sockets are all on radials, so that's a completely different thing. So I'll get those done. Same way as I did the cooker. I won't video doing the radials on the sockets because it's exactly the same as I just did with the cooker. And then we'll get on with the lights. Got to try and work out which is the potential for being the last light in the circuit and do the test from there. The downstairs lighting circuit was 0.91. Last thing, upstairs lighting circuit was 1.01. Okay, right hand side RCD test. Let's just recall it. 2000, 2000, 30.8, 37.2, 10 and 17.6. So the 17.6 will be taken for the times 5 and the 37.2 will be taken for the times 1. So that's on the right hand RCD, so we now need to do the left hand RCD. Okay, well actually I don't need to test the left hand side RCD because I've done that already when I did the outdoor circuit, which is there, you can see. So that I don't need to do again, so that's all sorted, but that one I hadn't done because I've not touched any of those circuits. Okay, I think I'm all done. I've done the IR. The IR testing is really hard for me to video, but the IR testing all came out fine, which is a bit of a shame in some ways because I was hoping it would detect the problem with the lighting circuit, but it hasn't. So something else is going on with the lights. So that's going to be when I do the remedial work. I'll have to have a more detailed look at the lights and find out exactly what's going on with those. It might just be the stack of light bulbs that the client bought. They're a bit dodgy, I don't know, but we'll have a look at that. But I'm not seeing any continuity or IR faults in the lighting circuits. So yeah, I'm a bit baffled by that one, but for the purposes of the EICR, they're all fine. So I'll just mark them down as remedial work to be done. Right. So just to recap, the EICR it's going to fail, but the client already knows that because of the tails and some other bits and bobs as well, and obviously. But obviously, the other remedial work that we're now going to have to report back is going to be the client already knew, and I already knew, there was one socket here that was faulty. It looks like there may be 2 or 3 that are faulty. It's definitely looking like we've got a spur off this ring final with more than one socket and not fused down, or there isn't a fused spur there, so that's wrong. So that will need to be investigated and put right. Cooker circuit passed fine. The ring final passed fine. It's just the spur looked like it hasn't been done right, but I will need to just have a good look. You know, there's not a return cable going back to the board. It sort of goes round the kitchen bit here and then goes back to the board, and then that definitely looks like it just heads off and it stops at that socket underneath the TV. So that's wrong. Upstairs, I've not found any faults upstairs, so that's no problem. The lights, as I said, they've all passed, but we do know there are issues with the downstairs lights, blowing bulbs, but not blowing the RCD, or not tripping the RCD or tripping the MCB. It's just blowing bulbs. That could be faulty light fittings. It could be a loose. If it was a loose connection, I'd have expected maybe the MCB or the RCD to trip, but they're not. So my gut is telling me these could be faulty fittings. They're quite old, so that's a possibility. Anything else? I can't think of anything else I've done now. The visual inspections, obviously, we've done in the first video, so we know we've got to do the tails, get them redone, which we can do now. We've got the isolator in. Having the isolator in now means I've got to add that to the EICR, that there's now an isolator. Other than that, it's as you saw inside the board, it's not the prettiest of all boards, but that's not part of my my job to tidy that up, really, unless there's more major problems that we find. Obviously we did find the fault in the garden circuit, that's been isolated, but that's been dealt with totally separately anyway. So that's where we are with this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to clean all my stuff up, and the next part of this video will be going through the EICR paperwork, of which there's a lot, and we'll just go through that, and as I say, this is a failure EICR, and we'll go from there. So there you go, that's the EICR all finished. The next video will be on filling in the EICR form. So we'll see you on the next one.